All right, welcome everyone. My name is Jabril Ben-Sedrin. I'm hosting this webinar on behalf of CESA Systems. Today we're going to speak about Hoshin Kanri, the often invisible but essential process behind effective visual management boards and effective daily management meetings. Our guest speaker will be Marie-Andree Morin, who is a methods project manager at Soucy. Soucy is a 12-facility, 1,700 employees company. They conceptualize, manufacture various components for leading manufacturers of motorsports, industrial, agricultural, and defense vehicles. Earlier in her career, she has held positions including project manager, operational excellence manager, Director of Quality and Continuous Improvement in North American industrial companies. She holds an industrial engineering degree and postgraduate education in business management. The topics that Marie-Andree will share with us today include, but are not limited to, definitions, the 7 steps of Hoshin Kanri, the pitfalls to avoid, the best practices for effective visual management, and we will have time for Q&A. Speaking of Q&A, please feel free to write your questions as soon as they come to mind. And there is on your dashboard a little button or tab that indicates questions. So go ahead and write any questions that you'd like to be addressed. I'll then share them with Marie-Andree at the end of her presentation. Marie-Andree is joining us from Canada, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Just a few brief words about our sponsor today, CESA Systems. Many of you are actually clients of ours, so thank you for joining. We are a world leader in lean enterprise. What you see here is a representation of the different products we provide. In color coded and in white are the products, the actual production equipment. Our products include 2,500 different references, 14,000 companies use them, including some that you recognize down here. I know some of you today actually work for these companies. And that includes product ranges such as training games. Let's see e-learning here, training games for onboarding team members with lean initiatives, ergonomic office furniture, workshop furniture, including ergonomic workshop furniture, workbenches, and so on, as well as in the logistics space, floor racks, trolleys, Kanban systems, floor markings, signage, safety signage. In the Industry 4.0 space, digital visual management, digital KPI software, and wireless and-on systems. And finally, in the visual management area, all sorts of whiteboards and magnetic accessories. So without further ado, oh yes, before I pass it on to Marie-Andree, just wanted to also remind you that participants will qualify for professional development hours. We will send a kind of a self-assessment following the webinar so that you can then receive your certificate. For those who are listening the recording, please reach out if you'd like to receive a certificate, and then we'll send you the details on how to proceed. All right, so without further ado, I will pass it on to you, Marie-Andree. So I just need to transfer here the control in a second. All right.
So can you see my screen?
We see your screen as well as your thank you notes. We see
no, so it's not the right one. Thank you. So thank you, Jabril. Really appreciate. I'm really pleased to
yes, we see
to meet everyone today. That's a
Thank
good
you.
one. Thank you. So let's start by a quick definition. Hoshin Kanri literally translation is compass management or management with a direction. We sometimes hear the expression policy deployment. That's the exact same thing. Hoshin Kanri is a process and a philosophy that helps align vision, objective, project plan, and work perform to ensure that all the organization is pulling in the same direction at the same time. What we know is when we have a good Hoshin Kanri process, a company eliminates the waste that comes from inconsistent direction and poor communication. Let's take a look at the 7 steps of Hoshin Kanri. So we have the vision, mission, and objective, KPI and goals, the strategic plan and strategic focus, the catchball process, the standardized reporting, so those wonderful whiteboards, problem-solving methodology, continuous improvement process, and number 7, but not the least one. Before starting with vision, mission, and KPI, let me ask you a question. With which step do you struggle the most in your organization? Is it a vision, mission, objective, KPI, goals, strategic focus, people engagement, standardized reporting, or the problem solving? Jabrili, to start the question. Thank you.
Yes, so you can go ahead and answer. You can actually select several options, and we'll give you a few seconds to answer. We'll try to reach 60% of the voters at least. All right, now we're at 41%, 53, all right, 74%, just a few more percentages. Excellent. All right, so 78% have voted, and the results are 26% vision, mission, objective, 42% KPIs goals, 52% people engagement. This is by far the most popular, I'd say, if I could call it that way. 26% standardized reporting and 28% problem solving.
So thank you for your participation. I will take care to focus on the ones that are the more popular, let me say. Vision, mission, and KPI. All organizations should have an inspiring vision that corresponds to a story of a promising future, where we need to go. It's the anchor point of any strategic plan. It outlines what an organization would like to ultimately achieve and gives purpose to the existence of the organization. The mission statement should really look the same, but it defines what an organization is and why it exists, its reason of being. The vision and mission of the organization are not a wish, but a need for the organization growth or survival. The vision is the why we need to do it. The objective will answer what have to be done. There's many ways to set up objectives. Here are the 2 concepts that may summarize them. We can see last year on the left, next year's at the right on the x-axis. Depending on the cycle of the company, the vision and objective can remain the same for 3 to 5 years on average. Some companies goes up to 10 years. But each company have their own cycle. And we have the performance on the vertical line. Here is our performance history. Some up and down, but with the progress overall. Based on our history, the new objective should look like a projection of your or past performance. That objective sometimes and often will be stretched a little, depending maybe on a new continuous improvement project already planned or efficiency we gained in the past year. So the new objective should be here based on our earlier performance, experience, and resources. Let's look at breakthrough objective now. So we still have at the left 3 to 5 years, on the right 3 to 5 years for the next, and the performance on the vertical line. Sometimes we know that looking on the past experience won't be possible. The market situation, competition too difficult, perhaps it's a matter of survival, when failure to obtain a new objective means disaster. So this is where we need to be. Oh, the star just disappears. I might apologize. So they're supposed to have a star just here. I don't know what happened, but you can see the gap. This is the most important. So the gap between the top line, the objective, and the story. So it it needs a different mindset. Instead of looking into the past and do a projection, we have to make it possible and realistic. So we start from the objective and how we will be able to achieve it. Setting an objective, as example, boost revenue, or a breakthrough objective like zero defect or zero accident are example of clear objectives. But it's not enough precise to guide our organization into efficient actions. We need KPIs, and it's my second question for you. How many KPIs your organization have at the business or management committee level? 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, more than 15, or you just don't know, don't have any KPIs?
Okay, so you should see on your screen right now the poll. You can go ahead and answer. We'll try to get to at least 2/3 of the participants. So I could tell you already that we're seeing more than 15 as the most frequent, 42%, and the others are around 15, 20%. So well, the gap is not as clear anymore. We're at 81% of the voters, and 33% actually now have more than 15 KPIs. That's still the most frequent one, and almost 8% don't have any or don't know. The others are revolving around 20% each. So again, more than 15, but fairly well distributed.
Oh yeah, interesting. I personally seen a lot of time more than 15. So let's dig into it. Now that we have our vision and objective, let's find a way to measure progress, and that's why KPI exists. So in the previous question, in average, we say that our organization are between 10 and 15 or more than 15. Based on my research, the minimum number of KPIs is 3. That's really low. So those 3 minimum indicators are something to measure financial, customer, and employee. All companies are monitoring financial indicator as net profit or other example like that. Customer satisfaction indicator are common too, and for good reason. No customer, no sales, no business. And we have a new rising category with employee for 2 reasons. So efficiency come with employee satisfaction according to many studies in well-being. So new companies now tending to take care of that. And in some countries or special condition, turnover rate have become a risk that have to be managed closely. No employee, no production, no customer, no sales. So that's what it's become now a KPI to ensure we have. So financial, customer, and employee are the 3 minimum KPI, but it can be more and it will be more depending on the organization. As you understand, KPI needs to be customized to your business situation. So that means that if a competitor have some KPIs, you're probably not able to stole them because it's part of the culture of the company. And it's a form of communication. So this means that it have to respect the same rules and best practices as any other form of communication. The definition should be relevant, clear, and described in a few well-chosen words. A good KPI need to align with business objective, meaningful to the audience they are intended for, and clearly measurable on a regular basis. To be meaningful to the audience and actionable, because you want people to do action on it, we need to cascade those KPI. Here, it is an example of a KPI cascade. There's many other examples that can exist. So at the corporate level, let's say that my KPI is customer satisfaction. So then at the factory level, we may need to or prefer to translate into something more relevant as customers complaint and quote to close ratio. So that means for them so that those new KPI are good, customer satisfaction will be good too. And at the department level, as quality, production, engineering, customer complain on what in our Pareto analysis, so quality of the product and delivery. Then our new KPI can be first partial and on-time delivery. But 80% first partial doesn't mean anything for our operator on the shop floor. So at the team level, we may propose to follow number of good parts. There's many ways are doing those cascade, and the most popular KPI we see in manufacturing are safety, productivity, quality, and on-time delivery. Each KPI need a goal, a clear level of expectation. To have a good formulation for the goal, I do recommend to use the SMART goal definition you probably already know. So SMART, specific, well-defined, measurable with specific criteria, achievable, so not impossible to achieve within the constraint and resources you have, realistic and timely with a clear defined timeline, including a start date and a target date. The purpose is to create urgency and clear expectation on deadline for prioritization. With that example, you understand that it's impossible to have priority if you have too many KPIs. So at the top of the pyramid, because if there's too many KPIs, too many possibilities of cascade again and again. So the recommendation is to have between 5 and 10 KPIs at the factory and department level together. Your KPI is useless if it doesn't get communicated properly. One element that will help you to communicate is your strategic plan. Strategic plan is a document that establishes the direction of an organization. You put any relevant topic regarding how did you create your strategic plan in it. It can be a single page or fill up a binder depending on the complexity of the business. The purpose of that document is to document the clear connection and a good reference to people so they can look at it and refresh their memory. Often we just present our the strategic plan in front of the people in the cafeteria, but they can't forget. So that's why it's important to have something document to remember. So in the absence of plan, work still can be done by a day-to-day basis, but we can often see a lack of alignment on performance and priorities because we forgot. Those are the 7 basic elements of a strategic plan, where there can be really much more in the plan, but these 7 elements will help you to get started. So you remember the breakthrough objective formulated at the beginning, or strategic focus? Special attention should be done on that one in a strategic plan because it's the priority of the organization. So an example of that, I have on the left a nice covering page. Usually you can see the SWOT analysis on that one. And I have another example with a one page for a KPI. This is the example with quality. And you maybe find a breakthrough objective and project with a little star here. So there's many, many examples of good practices on the web to build your strategic plan. Do your own, but it's really important to document it. My last question for you, how do you qualify your degree of engagement in your organization strategic plan? I don't know if we have a strategic plan in my organization, or it's not my job to work with it. I can influence, like propose project or measurement. I'm reporting progress in it, or I'm participating actively. I'm just curious.
Okay, you should be seeing now a quick poll on your screen. You can go ahead and vote. 2% voters. Let's try to do a bit better. Okay, 42%. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, we're 83 participants today, 85 actually on this webinar, just to give you an idea of the percentages. Also, they're not based on 3 respondents. So we're seeing here at 81% voters, clearly I am participating actively and I can influence proposed projects or measurements as the most frequent, 35% and 29% for respectively. 35% I can influence proposed projects or measurements, and 29% I'm participating actively. 10% don't know, 7% are not really directly involved, it's not their job, and 18% reporting progress.
Thank you for that. So, the catchball process, or the heart of creating engagement. Even if you have the right plan, if people are not on board with it, the goals will be more difficult to achieve. The executive and management committee members are already part of the process. They have built a strategic plan. We now want to engage the department level, mid-management level, may say, in our tactical plans, so more detailed plans and projects. This is where we have the complete list of project linked to an improvement for our LinkedIn manager here. And the last step, and the one that will have the most impact, the operational plan. We need to engage the critical mass of people in our plan to ensure to have all the conditions to succeed. There's many ways of presenting the strategic plan. You can do presentation with large group or small group to encourage dialogue, comments. But my favorite one is the catchball process. So the executive committee have set objective. They planned it. Now it's time to do it. What executive does? They give the plan to the next level, the management committee. The management committee create a strategic plan based on the vision and objective. They commit to that plan. They have built it. Now it's time to do it. What should they do? That method works, so let's just do it to the next level. Give the ball to the mid-management team. It's not yet popular way of doing things. What happens often is that management committee will ask the mid-manager to propose a list of projects to improve quality. No goal, no clear alignment, no vision. How mid-manager can propose something really relevant? Let's be honest, this method is really better than ask for nothing. It's clearly laudable, but not efficient. But I believe you understand the concept here. So instead of doing a presentation explaining what people will have to do, let them commit on how we will achieve together our goals. This is where each team will understand their contribution to the strategic plan. And because they build it, they will commit to it. That's the catchball process. Throw them the ball. If they don't catch it, well, they will be hit, so they will catch it. So many of you, I'm sure I've recognized the PDCA, the Deming Wheel cycle. So plan, do. Next step will be C for check. The validation of the plan. Now that all the team have prepared a plan, we need to validate that the sum will meet our goals. So put everyone's plan together. A visual way to present it is with a waterfall graphics. So as an example, I have the first partial KPI. So each department have commit to their plan what they should be. An example, product development, say, okay, on line 1 and 2 will have a negative impact, but on line 3 it will be positive because it's not a development activist that we plan for the next year. The setup team is almost the same path, and we have the production people that They have an example, a new training program, so the impact would be equally positive, and we will group all the other things to see the impact. The total of that is rarely even. Usually, we have less or more commitment than our goal. If we have that case, sorry, something's not working. Okay, so if we have the case that we have more commitment than our goal, it means that you will allocate maybe more resources than you need for that KPI. So be careful. But if you are in the opposite result that indicate that you have to add project to reach your goal, my recommendation is to start first by challenging the actual commitment you have. Can we stretch the goal to gain more results or minimize the negative impact? In general, it's costless to do it that way. So now that we have validated our plan, we are good. What's the next step? Let them go. Yes, let them go doesn't mean don't follow up. So the next step we will talk about is the reporting process to loop or PDCA cycle. Standardized reporting, how to ensure we will stay on track. Here is an example of a reporting escalade we often see. So in the quarterly executive meeting, we review the strategic plan progress. In order to be prepared, the management committee update is every month with the mid-management team. And the tactical plan may be reviewed once a week on the ongoing projects, and the operational plan is a daily management meeting to ensure every day we keep on track on our results. Adding on that, we may have information presentation on the plan progress twice a year with all employees in the cafeteria. Some example of the daily management meeting board. So the one we have seen, so the top of the iceberg. At the bottom, we have the team meeting in evidence in their work area, close to where they work. On the left, it can be an example of a production daily meeting where each area can ask for help. And on the third one, it can be a cross-functional daily meeting where production can escalate problem to every support function and decision are made for the priorities of the day. As you understand, standardized doesn't mean that each board are identical. Boards are to be adapted for each level and each teams. Standardized means that we establish rules for the board to make it easy to everyone to understand. An example would be first top line are the KPIs of the upper level, KPI goals and results. The line just below can be or KPI goals and results for our team. The action plan is in the middle, and an executive format. Safety KPIs are always on the left with red borders. So I recommend to add some rules as what represent the color code, instruction to fill the board, pictures and name of the team members, rule to escalate problem, the time, the team meet. So that's the kind of standards we have to set up. Something important, make sure that the strategic focus or breakthrough objective is really visible. We want to measure improvement, not to make a show of our result. So nice boards are not just everything. We have to make sure we understand our result and work on to improve our performance. The animation on the board needs close attention. It's an art. So ensure to have a dynamic animation. Find a positive way to present things. People have to see all issues as improvement opportunity, not as mistakes. Focus on the gap. Emphasis is put on identifying solution, not on finding the guilty guy. Challenge ourselves. Could we do better? That encourage dialogue to have open question. To help dialogue and participation, it's recommended that the team size should be between five and 8 person. Build an action list with owners and date to help have a clear commitment on action. Don't put all the team leader name or always the same people. Encourage other people to participate too. And sure, celebrate success as much as working on issues. Performance is key and need to be managed. So if we have issue, we need to know what to do with it. When we select an issue to work on, we should use a structured problem-solving methodology to solve it. There is many Lean tools adapted for problem solving as AD, PDCA, Kaizen's fishbone diagram. So you use one of them. They will probably fit exactly your needs. Key elements here is that it have to be based on facts and used not only for quick fix, but really go into in deep root cause analysis. If the team is not able to find the root cause, they need to have identified resources where they can escalate as a continuous improvement coordinator or an engineering department to get some specialized solution if the product is complicated or personalized. Hoshin Kanri is a process, and as each process, we have to ensure sustainability. Continuous improvement is the easiest way to maintain a process. So encourage the team to improve their daily meetings, test new templates that will be added to the available tools and standards, uh, let them propose digital visual management, balance between leading and lagging indicators. So if they are all greens on their board, lets them propose new KPIs to go more in the preventive mode. That's really good. Let them go as far as they decide to. Hoshin Kanri is a cycle, so all along the Hoshin Kanri cycle, ensure to pause and welcome feedback and improvement opportunities. That's really important to secure the next cycle. So that's completing the 7 steps of Hoshin Kanri. Theory always looks good. Let's look now at the dark side of the moon, the common issues. So based on my experience and research, this is the list of the most common issues. So no progress, no priorities, no commitment, always talking about the same problem, nothing happened. So I do not have them all for sure. If you have one and that you want to share with us, please write it in the question section to share with us. The team doesn't have progress on their KPI. Okay, ask question. Is the result right? It is the right measure. Have we done the right action to give results? What is the real degree of influence you have on the measure? Quick example here, our shipping team have done 20% improvement on delivery on time to the customer. So the preparation, it worked really hard, but the result is only at 80 for the KPI. What did happen? Then maybe after analysis, this team doesn't have 100% influence on their KPIs or other people can impact. So an example of that, um, production delivery part leads to packaging and shipping, and we have another 5% decrease caused by the carrier stuck at the border. So it's okay. It's okay to, if the team doesn't have the whole degree of influence, they just need to know. Don't be negative. Celebrate that success. After all, without their improvement, the result will be much worse. A comment here. Why cost is not a good KPI to cascade? Personally, for me, cost is not a KPI. It's the result of good performance. So when we have a cost reduction KPI, it may give the impression to many people that it is going on the opposite way of performance. But because we need resource and investment to improve our performance and cost reduction reflex will be, well, we cannot invest, so we cannot do project. I know that's not the goal, but my recommendation on that is instead of working on cost reduction, focus on give a prize to performance increase. That way of seeing things encourage creativity. Believe me, they will find a way to increase that 5% respecting the budget you're giving them. Other problem, manager on the team doesn't use the board in meeting, board doesn't fill out on time at all. My recommendation, Gamba, go and see approach, walk the process, see where the flow broke, test it. Do it with them, do it yourself to understand what's happening, what struggled them to use it or to fill the board on time. Those issues need often a coaching, mentoring approach. Don't forget too that some people are not comfortable to talk in front of a group. They will need your help. Make visible to the progress of each team and celebrate and communicate the progress and success of the team that are not participating may be encouraged because they will have recognition if they do. Other problem, people are not engaged, our motivation is low. We see that often, so listen to them. See how you can unlock their participation. Do they understand that participate to their team's goal is part of their role and responsibilities? Maybe they feel it's not their job. Do they understand the gap on performance? Does their manager care and encourage participation with open question? If he's just making a slideshow of all KPI without dialogue, coaching may be needed to get people involved. People need to understand how they can make a difference, that all contribution even if it looks small, it's counting. Director can help just by access to one daily meeting. Say nothing during that meeting and leave the meeting saying, thank you, continue to work on it. I'm confident you will find a solution. They are giving the ball again to the team and they are confident that they will succeed. So that's the way we can help. Sometimes people seems to be in a waiting mode, so they understand they can participate, but they are not stepping over the line. Remember that people will start to play only if you give them the ball. Rare are the person that are going in your office and ask for that ball. So our organization cannot be a soccer or football game. Some people playing with the ball at the middle and others just watching them. In sport, the attendees are paying to see the match. In our organization, we cannot pay everyone to watch a small group of people care about the strategy. We need everyone on board. Give them the ball, let them go. Maybe it's a question that people not able to focus too many priorities or it's a lack of priorities or too many KPIs, they seems overwhelmed. So if no priority is set for issues, the risk is that we just do the easy actionable item. So that means that the work that really needs to be done will not be done. So it's important to set up priorities with them. We are always talking about the same problem every day. I personally heard this one often. Are we really working on root causes? Are the delay well communicated? Is the problem solving efficient? Is the escalation process clear? So if on our action plan on the board, we put that the solution will be there in 3 days, it's important that we do the follow-up only on a due date. So it will help to have the impression that we are not always repeating the same thing. Ensure too that the priorities are the same when other teams are involved. If the priorities are not the same, the delays will be really difficult. You do not have the right condition to implement Hoshin Kanri. So the continuous improvement and lean project manager can sometimes feel like that. In French, I have the expression immobilisme de la perfection that I can kind of translate, sorry, by immobility of perfection, not able to start action, waiting for perfect condition to do it. So you feel you don't have the right condition? Mindset will be okay, but you don't need to. Milton Berle say, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. Just go and build that door. Sometimes the real problem I do face is I'm not able to do it the way I want to do it. Fine, you're a creative person. Just ensure to set your own implementation goal at an achievable level. Do not aim for perfection. It's not existing. Focus on action, one little step at a time. Hoshin Kanri is a cycle, so take it where it is and improve it slowly. You can start without clear vision. Start only with just one team, 3 KPIs, safety, quality, productivity in a production level team, a pilot area to demonstrate the value added and test it connect the dots, ensure the process will flow, and and before implementing everywhere, simplicity will be often is the key. And ensure that that first board will look amazing. You need to create a curiosity and desire to have that board everywhere. It's easier if people come to you and say, hey, I want that board too in my area. Much more easier to implement. So visual management is really important. Keep it simple. Use the common size people already understand. Red, yellow, and green sign. Everyone can understand what it means. I personally love to use magnetic stuff because it's less a lot of flexibility for adjustment, so the team can move things. They feel it's their board, they can move it. If you want to test if your board is really a good setup in visual management, let's bring someone who never saw the board and kind of game of search and find with it. So ask question, what can be a priority of that team today? Who is take care of that quality issue? Are you able to connect the team KPI and goals to our business objective? So it if people are not using their boards, you can also do a team workshop to redesign and recreate their board to increase their interest to use it. And my conclusion, my intention with this webinar was to help you see Hoshin Kanri from different perspective, to help you connect the dots in your policy deployment, to get engagement at all levels of your organization. With the COVID-19 situation we are facing this year, all our companies will need us to help them to achieve their results or need us to survive. Please take action, contribute to your strategic plan, and don't wait for perfection. And my last word, vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time, and vision with action can change the world. And it's coming from Joel A. Barker. So thank you all for your participation. Jabril, I will let you lead the question and answer section. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Marie-Andree. So we do have several questions actually. Typically one or two here, really quite a few. I'll start with the first. When should we implement Hoshin Kanri? At what point in your lean journey? Is it too late if we already started? Is it should we wait if we actually haven't started?
Personally, and thank you. I really love that question. But personally, I want to start with Hoshin Kanri, always. And I have three good reasons for that, and I'm pushing hard on those. The first reason is that to have a project that we are able to implement, we need management commitment. So Hoshin Kanri, we talk about strategy. So management team doesn't have the choice to be engaged because strategy, it's their sandbox. It's not like 5S where they can keep a distance with or the lean tone we are implementing. So talking about strategy, they are like trapped and cannot escape. I'm exaggerating and maybe it will make you laugh, but I believe you understand my point. So the second one, so you have um, director engagement. The second one, many teams when they do when Hoshin Kanri is running, you're doing problem solving, you're doing continuous improvement. So they will start and knock at your door and say, "Hey, we are looking for that 5S lean tool or another lean tool, whatever it is." So they will ask for it. If they ask for it, it will be really easier to implement than say, hey, I have a really great tool for you. It will be useful. Okay, so it's easier if they ask for it. And Hoshin Kanri is giving that opportunity often. And the last reason why I always want to implement Hoshin Kanri at the beginning, it's because it will build what I call my 4 lean cornerstones. You have leadership, so people, leadership engagement, and people working as a team, goal-oriented team, so they're able to follow graphics goal and to have um, new objective. They are able to do problem solving and continuous improvement. So with those 4 cornerstones, you can implement whatever project you want to. They will work as a team. They will be able to understand the objective. They will be able to solve problem if they face it, and they know that they will be listened if they have proposal for continuous improvement because they already live it. So I know that's a large answer, but that's why I just really love Hoshin Kanri, and I'm always working really hard to have that one implement first in the Lean journey.
Okay, thank you. Does that mean that if you already are further along in the Lean journey, it's too late to use Hoshin Kanri, or can you still initiate it in an organization that already has Lean underway?
No, you can already go with it. You know, the magic of Lean is that you can implement many useful tools when you need it. So if you did not need it yet, just maybe choose the right moment in the strategic focus or your organization to implement it. But don't stop what you are doing. So maybe plan it for the next one, the next step. And if you already have implemented some portion of it, so you have already implemented problem solving or Kaizen event for continuous improvement, well, it will be just faster to implement Hoshin Kanri.
Okay, so we're getting close to, actually we're past the 45 minutes we promised, but I guess it's a good problem to have. We have more questions than we can handle in this session. There will be other sessions on topics. I see here a number of questions that indicate that there is a strong level of interest in these topics. So if we can't answer all your questions today, we will take them into consideration for more webinars. And so if you don't mind, Marie-Andree, I'm just going to share with you kind of a sample of all the questions that I'm seeing here, and you decide which one we could address right now. So we'll probably take 1 or 2 more questions. The first is, what if we can't improve? Basically, we're experiencing roadblocks, and they're giving an example as the operational team that can't change the equipment speed or equipment layout, and they don't have the kind of the authority, let's say. That's a first. If you want to take notes, because there are quite a few. Another one with asking if you could just go more in depth in the catchball process description, and another question regarding what is meant by Pareto not really meaning anything at the team level. I'm not sure whether we need to clarify that. And what do you use the X matrix? And we have what's the difference between BSC and Hoshin Kanri? I'm telling you a lot of questions, so hopefully it's not overwhelming. Why is the cost not a good KPI for cascade? Since it's usually in all the SQDC or boards. Which KPIs relating to quality would you recommend? And so this is more like a yes, I guess a comment and a question from a participant who says he has experience with Hoshin Kanri, and it's always a problem to engage the team. In your experience, what will be a good approach to motivate the team? And what success factors to manage daily performance management versus Hoshin Kanri? So I guess at the daily performance management level. Also, your opinion regarding digital media over manual whiteboards. And whether you would suggest to track the strategic KPIs also on at the operational daily performance boards, or it should be in separate areas. And what structure for escalation process, and what kind of structure would you recommend? So quite a lot of, and this is a sample. We have a few more, but
okay, maybe let's dig into the maybe that will answer some question if we dig a little more into the catchball process. So catchball, you understand that it's your dad never asked you to play catchboard. So that's the Japanese English translation. The principle is that we have to give the strategy for the person. So I don't know, talk about more what you mean, but uh, as an example, to do the catch-ball process, you have the management team presenting SWOT analysis result. They have to show them all the same cards they have when they do some decision about the strategic plan. And then, so for safety, quality, continuous improvement, sales and delivery, and whatever the KPIs we have, you have all those team, all those different departments usually are separate in silos, and this KPI is for that team. No, we want the KPI for the whole organization. So if you have them all in different workshops or to get all together, the principle is that you are not defining as a management committee what will be the detail of the strategic plan. You let them decide, you let them commit. Usually you have to prepare it. So that exercise, you cannot arrive with just white pages. So people already have a list of project, of impact that the project will have, all investment, what will be the results, which resources they will need. And you do a huge workshop or separate workshop with all departments. And after that, example and each department have to commit of what can be their contribution. So sometimes some departments, example on safety, if we have a purchasing department, we may not have many impact on safety but when we think about it, we may find any safety issues regarding sometimes when the suppliers are coming, you can take care of the safety of the suppliers, the exchange, the truck circulation, and so the goal is that everyone can see they have a contribution on our KPI instead of, oh, safety, this is just doing to the safety coordinators and no one cares because that is KPI. So I don't know if I addressed the question on talk about more the catchball process, but all people have to understand and be creative to explain the impact they may have and commit to a results they may have. So it's a matter of everyone together. Then if you have to participate in another project of another department, you will now understand why it is the priority. So it's helped to create less, I would say, list everywhere where you are waiting for your project. What do we have as a question? I take really quick notes. Quick KPIs on quality, there's several of them, so it's really depending on your product. There's many good articles on those. Why cost is not a KPI? I believe I explained it a little bit, but for me, cost is going against sometimes the performance. So people say, no, we cannot do that because it will cost something, and we have a cost reduction. So it is blocking sometimes people to propose project or investment. Instead of that, I prefer as a cost is everywhere. So non-quality, you can find cost reduction by increasing your performance. So example, if you have less non-conformities by the end of the year, that's a cost reduction at the end. And so that's the way I prefer to cascade or monitor costs in the organization instead of doing something else. Sometimes people seems in conflict, but just combine them to be more efficient. Digital media. Um, Digital media, if you're starting your team meeting board, I would recommend first to use whiteboards. If you're able to to make the whiteboard well functioning and it is going well, maybe there's a portion of it of the whiteboard. Mainly, it will be the KPI updates that we will put on the digital media, because sometimes it's difficult to have the exact measure, the exact KPIs. So digital media can be really cool. Um, it can be useful too, because you can maybe watch work instruction. You can do maybe conference call if there's not many noise, or so people if sometimes can just, hey, I need for help. You're calling that person, you're exchanging. So if it's a quiet area, let's say, it can be possible. So it can give a lot of opportunities. You can maybe watch work instruction in it. So it can be really useful for problem solving. I do recommend with digital media to always have a whiteboard, because it's not all the person in organization that are still working well with computers. So sometimes they're kind of afraid to use them. So little whiteboards to take notes, and for the action plan, it's for me, I believe it is more easier to do it that way than everything on digital. Everything on digital, my advice will be to take care, because sometimes people will disconnect from that. They will not feel it's them because they are not touching it, they are not changing it. So just take care about that. What's the other question? Structure escalation process. A structure escalation process, if you have a problem solving, you may have a level 1 problem solving, just a fishbone in the area. So people see a gap on the KPI, they are red, so they need to do problem solving, able to do a little fishbone. If they are not able to find the solution, we have to have a kind of problem solving SWAT team. Just go try with them, and if they are not able, just plan a next level, maybe a AD level problem solving with a little more technical people, because this is what it needs for that problem. Example of that, if you have a problem with shortages, your people on the shop floor may not be able, but if you bring the buyer in, you should be able to find solution with him. But maybe the problems now come from engineering, so then the team is coming bigger. Sometimes we should use another kind of tool, because the follow-up will be different. And if it's a huge problem, it can be uh, um, uh, with many departments, many people, and the follow-up will take months. I do recommend to use like A3, DMAIC, or a kind more of project management approach to ensure we will be able to track action. It will be the good tools for it. So I hope I cover many of your questions.
Yes, great. Well, in the meantime, we have a few more. It's unfortunately time to wrap up, but I can maybe briefly answer some of them. We will share a copy. Thank you, Marie-Andree, for agreeing to that. So those who are interested, please send us an email, and we'll respond with a copy of the presentation. This method applies to manufacturing as well as non-manufacturing. That's a question that came, and clearly it can be very useful in different environments. And as you mentioned, for the combination of regular whiteboards and digital software is a good one. Someone asked for recommendations, which recommendations you would have for digital visual boards, and if you're interested, we could send you some information about that. We also will have actually a webinar on that. Yes, again, it's unfortunately it's time to say goodbye. Just a few words before. So again, as a reminder, we will have a follow-up survey so that we can help you receive your attendance certificates, your professional development hours. And I'll just very briefly share a couple of other items here for those interested. So as you know, SISA Systems provides continuous improvement support with equipment that is very similar, really, in the spirit that Marie-Andree was sharing today. It's both, you know, they're simple tools, but that can be very powerful when they're used with the right method. And so that's why we're always very interested in having discussions with people like yourselves. Also, call for speakers. If any of you would be interested in sharing your experience, either while keeping everything confidential, remain confidential. But if some of you would be interested in sharing your experience, we're very interested in hearing from you. So please be in touch. And so we do have we call it the SISA Systems Academy. It's a kind of a demo room where people can actually come and test products and discuss how to use them. Several hundred executives actually do that, but because we're all spread in the entire North America today, we also have this online version. We will have more webinars. There are some that are already available. And if you'd like to continue receiving webinars, please join us on LinkedIn. Also, we have a number of catalogs available. We have a white paper on ergonomics, on Industry 4.0. If you'd be interested in receiving them, they are available on our website, but you can also just email me if it's easier, but you can also create an account and have them. So to connect with Marie-Andree, you'll have her LinkedIn here. I guess it's difficult to just rewrite it here, but we'll send it if you request the presentation, and you'll receive the LinkedIn, or you can find her directly. Please connect also with me if you'd like. I'd be very happy to. Follow us again so that you can receive the updates. We're going also to share a growing number of use cases. And I think that if you're like me and like us, you always enjoy watching some different settings in different plants and equipment. So we're happy to share that with you there. And we do have a LinkedIn group. The name is pretty long. Maybe we'll have to change it at some point, but we have a membership of more than 1,400 members, close to 1,500 now, and we'd love to have you as well. Again, a chance to hear from the future webinars, and also welcome to upload any information there. That's it for today. I think we covered everything. So thank you everyone for joining, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a future webinar. Bye-bye, everyone.